I have tons of meat on my thighs. Sue's here and back for my 2-month postpartum and newborn update. Brexley, if you can hear the little grunting and sighing sounds, is actually feeding right now while we're recording. So she will make her cameo debut in just a little bit so you can get a look at her and all her glory and cuteness. But just to give you a quick update on some things we've been going through the last 2 months. Getting used to having a newborn and a toddler. Having 2 under 2 has been quite an adjustment. Brexley has made it as easy for me as probably she possibly could, as she is already sleeping through the night. Now, her doctor was kind of like, don't, let her go longer than 4 hours between feeds so that she can gain weight, because she is pretty small. But Brexley decided on her own that she was gonna start sleeping, and I definitely make sure that she eats and I offer her food every 2 hours during the day. And other than that, she feeds on demand. But from everything that I've researched, if she's sleeping at night and she wants to sleep her night straight through, as long as she's eating so regularly during the day, it kind of all adds up anyway. So I do let her go ahead and sleep through the night so that we can also all get some sleep as well. She did surprise me a couple weeks ago. She actually rolled over for the first time, and I missed it. Like, I had her doing tummy time down on a blanket, and I was sitting on the couch behind her and glanced away and looked back, and she had rolled off of her tummy onto her back, and she kind of let out a little surprised cry, like she didn't really understand what happened. I was so excited, and I was like, no one is ever gonna believe this. She's not even 2 months old. And so I quickly got my cell phone out and I put her back on her tummy and made sure her arms were down at her sides, because I was like, maybe her arms were up too high and that, she pressed off of them and that's what made her roll over. So made sure her arms were down at her sides and everything, and put it on record on her just in case she did it again. And sure enough, she did it one more time, which was great that I got to capture that on video and send that to her grandparents. And actually, I texted it and sent the video to her daddy immediately. He was at work and he was so shocked. I haven't seen her do it since then. In all fairness, we had to evacuate for a hurricane and all this other stuff. She hasn't had as much tummy time as she was getting previously to that. Other things that she is doing now is being alert so much. She's watching her 2-year-old sister with her eyes, kind of like following her around. She's full of smiles and she's starting to coo, just a little, kind of testing out what her voice sounds like. She loves cooing and smelling at her daddy, and sometimes when he gets home from work or, comes in after she hasn't seen him for multiple hours, she just lights up and gives him the biggest smiles. And then he gets the biggest smiles because she's absolutely adorable. Why wouldn't you? Other than that, she was mostly exclusively breastfeeding. Recently, we have been supplementing more with formula. When she was first born, she had a slight issue with her blood sugar just in the hospital. It cleared itself up pretty quickly, but because of that, we did have to give her formula in the hospital, because I didn't want to risk it. If we could give her formula and that would help fix the situation immediately, then why not? And that's kind of where I've always stood with breastfeeding versus formula feeding. Fed is best, and what each person decides to do for their child is the best thing for them and their child. I am enjoying breastfeeding. With my first baby, I wasn't able to breastfeed as long as I would maybe want to. She didn't latch totally correctly, so I did experience soreness, and I just honestly was a little squeamish about the whole breastfeeding thing. I didn't really know what I was doing, and didn't really know how comfortable I felt about doing it. So I gave it my best, but I only made it 6 weeks breastfeeding with my first baby, and she got formula the whole time. And with Brexley, we are going strong, with no signs of stopping. So that's really good. Postpartum wise for me, I did get my period back already this past month, or what I think was my period. It was multiple days and heavy. Sorry if that's TMI. Now, recently, it's only been a couple of weeks since that happened, and I've been having like constant chronic cramping for at least 3 days now, and I don't know if that's just like my first ovulation maybe, and it's just super painful. I don't remember it being like this after my pregnancy with Blair. I don't remember it being this way. I do remember the first period being really painful and really heavy. My periods have always been pretty regular my whole life, and I don't remember having anything so soon right after that. So I'm anxious to kind of see what's going on with that. My hormones, I feel like, have started to level out. Still got some postpartum hair stuff going on. Little short hairs coming up where, you know, you start losing some of your hair after birth and then it starts growing back in. So looking forward to that. I'm still taking my prenatal vitamins, of course, and some breastfeeding, and I'm sure taking those also helps kind of combat the hair situation. I recently started more of a keto lifestyle, which I'll talk about in future videos, and that has to do with the gestational diabetes that I had during my pregnancy with Brexley and what's going on with my hormone levels and sugar levels now that I needed to do that. So that is affecting breastfeeding somewhat. So we have, for that reason, we have started supplementing more with formula, because I just want to make sure that she's getting everything that she needs. So if that means that whenever she's with me, she gets breast milk, and whenever her daddy's kind of taking over and taking care of her so that I can rest, or that I can go somewhere with Blair, my 2-year-old, then she drinks formula. It's still not a crazy amount, but that's helping. It's also helping with the weight gain. She is around, I'd say, approximately 11 to 11.5 pounds now. She is finally starting to get a little belly, little chunky belly on her, and she's finally starting to get some meat on her thighs, which I have tons of meat on my thighs and have since the day I was born. So she came out with really skinny thighs. Her sister came out with, you know, full fleshy thighs and butt, and so Brexley was 7 pounds and 2 ounces when she was born, which wasn't that much smaller than Blair. They anticipated she was possibly going to be like a 10-pound baby because of my gestational diabetes, and they thought she was at least 9 pounds from the ultrasound. And then when we did the last scans before she was born, they were like, no, she's probably going to be 8 pounds or less. And then she was only 7 pounds and 2 ounces. So they do have a hard time. They can tell everything else in an ultrasound, but they do still have a hard time sometimes estimating weight. And she's a hungry, hungry little girl. She is still keeping her hands kind of clenched in fists for a lot of the day, which this is like really gross, but it gives her like this little salt and vinegar smell in her hands, like she's been eating salt and vinegar potato chips. So I have to like constantly wipe her hands and try to keep those clean, because she's, you know, gets that little vinegary smell from putting her hands up to her mouth and getting the milk and stuff in her hand and then holding it shut, and it's just like fermenting in her hand. Blair didn't really have that. Ooh, we did the poo-poo. We did the poo-poo. She just popped off. So since she did, let's go ahead and give her a little burp, and then let's get a look at her. I'm still working on losing my postpartum weight, and I'm sure I'll be working on that for a long time here to come. Although since I started the keto, I think I've already lost another 7 pounds, and it's, you know, really recent. So I'm excited, hoping that that will continue. Blair still is not used to her little new baby sister. She looks at her and smiles at her, but she really won't touch her or interact with her, which kind of makes me sad, but then it also kind of makes me relieved, because at least she's not, you know, I see some people that have babies and toddlers, the toddler, you know, really is so excited and wants to help so much that I'm almost worried that they would accidentally hurt the newborn. So I'm kind of glad that we don't have that issue to deal with, although Blair does like to, you know, throw toys and play a lot, and I really have to watch her carefully when she's got her toys out around Brexley. I'm super paranoid that she's gonna fling something that's gonna land on Brexley and hurt her. What Blair does do that's really cute, Blair's never really played with baby dolls, but she has a stuffed animal, a Scout, Leapfrog Scout. She's obsessed with Scout. She has Violet too, but she's obsessed with Scout. Yeah, I'm sure you will see Scout in future videos, because Scout is her best friend and he goes everywhere with her, and he's very dirty already. Scout's only like a year old, and he's just, you can tell that he goes everywhere with her. She takes Scout, and so when I take Brexley out of her Mama Roo or her Bouncy or her Docatot, anything like that, if Blair is around, she'll go and take Scout and put Scout into Brexley's Mama-Roo and then take a blanket and cover Scout up. So she is like mimicking what I do to take care of Brexley. So I know she's paying attention. Doesn't appear to be jealous, which is good. She's just kind of like skeptical of the whole situation. She's just like, I don't really know what I think about that baby just yet. Almost like she's scared of Brexley. I'm sure once Brexley starts moving around more and sitting up by herself and crawling and stuff, that maybe Blair will start interacting with her more. But as of now, it's a very slow process. And I try to play peekaboo with Brexley and Blair and have Brexley do little dances and stuff and sing Blair songs and stuff to try to encourage that interaction. And that's helping, and just trying to get Blair to, ooh, soft, you know, give her kisses or give her hugs. But so far we haven't gotten very far with that. The most Blair has done is like walked up to her and like touched the blanket. That is over Brexley. And then walked up to me with her cup of milk while I was breastfeeding Brexley and wanted to climb up in my lap to drink her milk at the same time. But then when she was done, she's like, okay. She's looked at Brexley's little baby feet like, oh, those are cute, but she's not interested in having Brexley touch her or be on her. All right, well, that's her cradle cap is pretty much clearing up now. She had it pretty bad, and I did use coconut oil and just like a soft baby brush to kind of try to get that off. You see, she's got like a little, she was born with a thick head of hair, and of course, you know, newborns lose their hair, and she is losing some of it. I put Miss Brexley down in her Mommy-Roo. I thought that we lost battery power on our camera again, and maybe we did. I don't know. I think it cut off and stopped filming. I'm gonna have to look back and see how much we got, but I'm pretty sure it cut off right as Brexley was trying to wave goodbye to you all. I just came back real quick to say that I will continue doing monthly updates for her, as well as doing updates on Blair. You haven't got to meet her yet, along with all of the other videos we plan on doing, just day in the lives, motherhood, parenting in general, and maybe some other sit-down videos. If you have any questions or comments, if you'll leave them down below, I'd love to connect with you. Do me a favor, if you like the video, like it, and subscribe, and I look forward to updating you again next month. Thanks, bye.
Fell down by the river, I was screaming just to hear a voice. Cold by the riverside, I was asleep into my very soul.